we're going to be starting with. Should we start from bottom up again?
Yeah.
So we're going to be starting with
first.
6th. I think we should put in some honourable mentions after we're done
Right.
Yeah.
with
Let's do
first.
that.
So who we think is going to finish 7th and 8th. Paolo, would you like to start us off? Who you got in 6th?
I will. So, in 6th, I've got Tottenham Hotspurs.
Okay.
Yeah. In 5th, I've got Aston Villa.
Interesting.
In 4th, I've got Manchester United. In
Okay,
3rd,
where's this going?
I've got Manchester City.
Whoa.
Ooh, 3rd. Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
In 2nd, I've got Liverpool.
Okay.
And you know who's winning.
Everton.
Yes, Everton are winning the league.
Okay.
No, Arsenal are winning the league.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's more controversial, City first or Arsenal winning.
Yeah.
Or Spurs or
City
United 4th.
City 3rd, you mean?
Yeah, City 3rd, sorry.
Yeah, or Arsenal winning. Yeah, what's your opinion of that, guys?
I think it's definitely possible for Arsenal to win the league this season. I think if they don't win it this season, I think that mentally would absolutely break you.
Yeah.
Because I know when Liverpool did it, it was within the first 3 seasons. Klopp said, "Give me 3 seasons, I'll win the league." And they've gotten so close. And I think watching City over the past 2 seasons, I know they won the treble, not last season, the season before, and they haven't been as good as they were when Liverpool and City were going. That's not 98, 99, 100 points. Like it's early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah.
So they've been catchable. This is the most catchable I think they've been since Liverpool won the league.
100%.
I don't think Arsenal.
You don't think Arsenal?
I don't think Arsenal can get 100 points. I don't think
or 92 or 93.
I think 95 is like kind of the ceiling, and not to disrespect them, that's still a mammoth total. That's 31, 32 wins.
Look, they
in the
got
season.
89 last season compared to City's 92.
Yeah.
You know?
So it would be a big jump. Where do they win those 2 games? I mean, they beat City and then they drew to City.
Yeah.
Where do they get those extra
Extra
points?
Yeah.
And I think signing Calafiori shows them up defensively, but they already had the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
They need a goal scorer.
Yeah.
And they went through a run where they were scoring a lot of goals from around January. But
We can see they mix their goals up.
yeah, but that was a lot of other players providing. They
Yeah.
don't have a striker that scores goals. Like Havertz, Jesus, Eddie and Nketiah, you can't rely on them to score 20 goals. They just aren't those kind of players.
Yeah.
I think that's the gap that they're missing.
Right.
And if you look at City, they had Haaland, De Bruyne, Stones out for a long time last year. I mean, De Bruyne, Haaland and Stones were, I think, out for the exact same...
And they still managed
at the
to pick
exact
up
same
points.
time. And they still continued to pick up points. They had a slump when Rodri wasn't there, when they didn't
course.
win 3 games.
Right.
But even though they haven't strengthened their squad, I think Rico Lewis, Oscar Balbo are going to come and play a bigger role.
Yeah.
McCarthy's come back on loan.
McAtee, Alvarez.
Yeah, like I think their squad is still really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The only thing is, how hungry do you think City will
I think
be?
that's going to be the biggest problem.
Don't you think
mentality.
Arsenal will be more hungry to win
I
this
think
season?
they will, but
Or than Man City, because they've done it now for the past 3 years. And with the same group.
yeah, I think we kind of use that argument every year though. Since I think last season we were like, they just won the treble. Will they be hungry?
Yeah.
And they were. They were just as hungry. They wanted to win the treble again.
Yeah.
But this season I think will be tough because like their key players like De Bruyne, like
Yeah.
I don't think he has much left in him. Not talent wise, but like you said, mentally I don't know if he has the same. Also, like his body fitness wise he's missing more and more games every season.
Yeah, you can see the trend.
I just think the squad's getting... I think this is probably the last season. I think, like we said in the last episode, this is potentially Pep's last season. The squad's coming to an end of its era.
Yeah.
And this is potentially the last dance to make it like...
Last dance.
Yeah. But I think the squad on paper, Arsenal are seriously close.
Yeah.
I just think City with De Bruyne and Haaland and Stones and Alvarez, Rodri, they just have more game changers in the right positions.
I think going off Junaid's point, I feel like to be able to win the Premier League, I think you got to take it game by game, just game by game, every week. Obviously, you're only as good as your previous game, and you need to go off of that. So I think Mikel Arteta, the way he's wired, he's got that winning mentality. He's got that mentality to take it game by game and understand and manage his players well during the season. And I don't think they had too many injury worries over last season. They were one of the teams.
I think one of the luckiest injuries was, I think, Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, Raya, Havertz, Saka.
They retained
played like 90% of the games. Ben White.
They retained their core.
They played, I think, 90%
throughout the season. Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice. And then I think they fluctuated with their strike. Obviously, Jesus was out for like the whole season. But I heard he's had a great preseason as well.
I just don't think Jesus is that guy to win you.
Obviously,
to be your main striker.
You need a Haaland.
You need an Aguero if you have Jesus.
That's why I think like Arsenal were linked with Gyökeres. And I feel if they sell Nketiah, they can get Gyökeres or Isak, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Any one of those two that will bump them up. You know, they've still got, like 28 days left on the window.
Yeah. But also the squad is really young. I know we was like, when I was saying earlier, I think this season they'll win it. If they don't, they'll crumble. The squad is really young, but I think mentally to come back from losing just 3 times in a row is like, and then it starts getting to a point where
I think it spurs you. I feel it spurs you on to go and finish the job.
Do you reckon after so many failed attempts?
So many failed attempts. Jeez. Failure breeds success.
Also, I feel next season the other teams will be stronger as well. You're going to see United, Chelsea coming up.
Yeah.
Next season. Yeah. It's going to be more difficult to compete for the title.
Yeah. 100%.
And also, like, I think the thing is though, at what point, I don't know, not to make it sound controversial, but at what point do Arsenal's like hierarchy go like, okay, how do we get there? Because it's like, Arsenal have been given a lot of money over the past 3 years. Yeah. One of the highest spenders. They don't sell at all, if they do, not very well. Like, when does it get to the point where I'm not saying fire Arteta at all, like, I'm not saying that, but it's like, how do they elevate then? Like, how do they become title winners without Man City becoming worse? Because it's like, it seems like the only way they win the titles if City don't win it. If that makes sense. Like, it's almost out of their hands.
Strengthen in areas that you need strengthening. City have done that. They've strengthened in each area that they need strengthening. They've identified their weaknesses and they've strengthened. You know, they got Haaland. They got a backup for Haaland, Alvarez. They got Rodri. They got John Stones when they needed John Stones. They got Edison. They've got Gvardiol. They strengthened where they've strengthened. And Arsenal, I feel like they are strengthening where they need strengthening. Even though they've got other left backs, they need a Calafiori. They need a person to fit Mikel Arteta's system, the way he drives into space, and he can potentially assist, and he can get on the ball, and he can make things happen. So that's why I feel like Arsenal are going to win the league.
Okay.
Yeah, and City might underperform.
So do you really think Liverpool second though?
I think Liverpool second.
Well,
I think
I'm a Liverpool fan and I don't even know if
I think they're going to improve on last season.
Okay.
Yeah. Purely because of Diaz.
I'm excited for the season now, bro.
Diaz, and they've got a solid back four. I think if they sign a 6 and push McAllister and Szoboszlai forward, bring Curtis Jones in as well, Carvalho, Harvey Elliott, they've now got a good balance and the youngsters are getting experience. I feel like they can improve on last season. Yeah. But enough about my predictions. What about your guys' predictions?
What have you said, Junaid?
So we're starting from 6?
6, yeah.
6. So 6, I have Chelsea.
Okay.
5th, Newcastle.
Ooh, okay.
4, Man United.
Okay.
Like you. 3, Liverpool.
Okay.
2, City. 1st, Arsenal.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a nice one. Newcastle in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Little wild card. Newcastle, Chelsea.
So, yeah, what are your motivations? Why do you think Arsenal ahead of City?
Like I said, just because of the hunger. I think Arsenal will be more hungry to take it this season. I think City's also, there's a lot going on with the transfers and last season, no renewal of contracts, that kind of stuff. I just think this is Arsenal season. If it's now or never, I feel like for them.
Yeah.
also,
It's also like a long time coming.
yeah, it's a long time
like
coming.
This has been like 4 years of build up.
So
Yeah.
And also, no, more like 20 years.
If we're counting
More like
yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
For Arsenal fans.
But I'm more just saying for Arteta.
for Arteta
Yeah.
as well.
for
yeah.
Arteta, yeah.
Like it's, yeah, I don't know. Just going back to that point of like, if it's not the season, I don't know where do they innovate.
Yeah.
Like what more can they do? I don't know.
I just feel like if it's not the season, next season's going to get even more difficult
It's
for
gonna-
them.
Yeah,
It's gonna get even
100%.
more
Because Chelsea are going to keep.
It's like the
spending.
Man United train.
Yeah.
If not this season, then when?
Yeah.
You know? People are saying 5 years, but I feel like it's more like 10 years for United.
Oh, they're saying 10 years until
To
they win
win.
the title.
She's like, it's getting longer and longer because
I think
they're
that-
just
yeah.
prolonging the process.
No, I think
Yeah.
it's exactly the same with Chelsea. Like I said, I think last episode, starting again for like the third time for the third year in a row. And it's like, you're not just setting yourself back 1 year. Like you're starting again 3 years in a row. You're actually going back 6 years, 7 years because your
Yeah.
opponents are strengthening. The gap between Chelsea and City
It's huge.
is, go back 10 years. The gap between Chelsea and City, Chelsea were winning the title. They were
Exactly.
better than Man City.
Yeah.
Chelsea are probably further than they've been from Man City in the past 20 years now.
I mean, look at the points tally from last season. It's City on 92, and then it was Chelsea on like 60 something. Let's see. Yeah, 63. City on 91, Chelsea on 63. It's nearly 30 points difference between City and Chelsea. And you say 15 years ago, it was completely the opposite.
I'm saying 10 years ago with Conte,
even that.
they were winning the league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. City were
Yeah.
much closer because they were building up.
But
But
it's
even-
like the gap is
Yeah.
bigger than ever.
It's huge, yeah.
Then
And yours? Your predictions? Let's go on to
I've
it.
gone for a safer 6.
You've gone for the safest.
I think the risk
safest.
The safest 6. Sixth place, I have Chelsea because I think that, like we just said, starting again, I don't see them pushing for top 4. I think top 4 is too competitive. In fifth, I've got United because I think they will, you know, if Ten Hag's backed with maybe 1 or 2 more players, I think they'll close the gap a little bit.
Right.
I also think that, okay, once I finish my top 6, I'll mention why I've left some teams out. Fourth, I've gone Spurs.
Right.
And I've gone Spurs because I think the first 6 months of last season before Maddison got injured, they genuinely had improved. They've jumped up another level. And if they can maintain that this season with new signings, I think they could definitely be fourth.
Yeah.
Third, I've gone Liverpool. I've gone this because with Arne Slot, it's a relatively unknown. We don't know. All we can take is from 2 preseason games, and I like the way Liverpool play. We know there are glaring weaknesses in the squad, even though it is a strong squad. The squad is, like we said, they competed for the title last season, but there are weaknesses there, and teams around them have improved.
Yeah.
So
and the gap is also quite big between the top 2.
That gap was, and then I think the gap between Man City and Arsenal, and then 3rd to 6th is massive. Like it's, even though Liverpool weren't too far away from Arsenal last season, I think that Liverpool were riding on adrenaline. It was almost luck that got them as close as they did.
They were the overachievers last season.
They were the overachievers last season. 100%.
Look, it was City, Liverpool, 9 points difference, and then you go from
But
third,
I think
third to 6th is 20 points.
But I think realistically, Liverpool were more closer to 20 points behind Man City. I think if you actually look at how they went 1-0 down 25 times.
That's crazy.
Like,
I remember that Palace game last season.
A team that goes 1-0 down 25 times doesn't deserve to end 3rd.
Yeah.
Doesn't deserve to end 9 points off the league title.
That is crazy how they did that. How they managed to pull the cat out of the hat.
Yeah,
Cat out of the bag.
90th minute goal was like, it actually didn't even hit anymore. Like the adrenaline didn't even hit because you just
they're going to score sometimes.
It's for me it's like the 90th minute winner. It's always like it's always Jota. It's just always Jota off the bench.
Elliot's got a solid, like he got one against Palace, I think, when we played at Palace. That was a banger. Nunez got that Forest one. I mean, we got plenty. There's too many to actually remember.
Yeah, and even Arsenal, like the 3-3 draw with Luton. A lot of those...
That was clutch.
A lot of those games where it was touch and go. And that's those nail biters often dictate the fine margins.
Yeah.
You know, if they had got an extra 2 points there, Arsenal would have won the league.
Exactly. So I think second Arsenal and first City. I think we've mentioned a lot, like why
Safest
I think
bet
that,
ever.
like
Yeah.
safest bet. This is the safest top six. If you got money, put it on this top six. But just because Man City,
I'm
like
still
we mentioned,
surprised by Chelsea, guys.
it's
I want to
safe.
hear your reasoning
So
behind
I'll
Chelsea.
go
at
into
sixth.
my reasoning for Chelsea sixth because I think I might have mentioned it last week again as well. Like they actually have a talented squad. They've got talented players. It's just how do you get them onto the pitch and like
Make them gel.
make them
Together,
gel?
yeah.
Because like we were watching earlier, Nkunku's a great player. Like Caicedo, we know is a great player. Enzo is a great player.
Individuals.
Yeah.
Gusto is a great player.
How do they gel though?
That's the
just
thing. You just
gelling,
got to
yeah.
get them
Yeah.
to play. If Maresca can do one thing, it's just get them to play semi-well and not have these periods where they draw 4-4 to Man City but then lose like 3-0 to Forest or something like that. Like,
Right.
if you can just get them consistent, I think they'll be top
Yeah.
six. And the reason I've left out Newcastle and Villa, so Newcastle,
Yeah.
I think Villa were in seventh because I
Right.
think the demands
Yeah.
of Champions League are massive.
Oof.
Yeah.
And I don't,
Yeah.
even though they're making signings, I don't know if their squad is ready, especially with the expanded Champions League, more games,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
More demand.
more demand now. I don't know if their squad is ready. And also, a lot of their players are not Champions League tested. A lot of their players have never played in the Champions League.
Yes.
And I know...
Let alone European competition.
Exactly.
You know, they had
So-
one stint at European competitions last season.
Yeah, but also...
And they didn't do great last season as
Exactly.
well. Yeah.
So-
I mean, they got knocked out in the quarters, I think.
I
Or
think
the
they
round of
lost
16.
Who they lose
And they lost to
Olympiacos?
Olympiacos, who won it. Yeah.
So I think that's the reason I've gone for Villa ending
Yeah.
outside of that zone, just because I think
Yeah. I went Villa 8.
injury to Ollie Watkins, it's game over. Like they don't have other goal scorers besides Bailey, but he hasn't
And
been.
Duran.
And
John
but he
Duran.
might be sold.
He
They
might
say
even be sold to Chelsea or something like that.
So
yeah.
no Moussa Diaby. If Ollie Watkins gets injured, I don't see where they get goals. That's and the Newcastle eighth. Also, just because I think their squad,
They could have a better season than Villa, so
they could.
I tend to agree
They
with Junaid
definitely,
there.
they definitely could. I think they're both similar,
Yeah.
but I still think Newcastle's squad, like they're so.
They're relying on youngsters, and
But
we saw the injury list.
risk. The injury risk
Yeah.
to them is like they lose
huge.
Isak. Where did they get goals? They lose Gordon. Where do they
Wilson.
get goals?
Wilson
They
comes
lose Botman. Their defense is pretty much ruined.
Lascelles
Midfield,
comes
they
in,
lose
yeah.
Gimaresh. What then?
Who comes in, yeah.
Yeah. So
Longstaff comes
What if they lose Eddie Howe?
to
I think
England.
it's
then.
more.
Yeah.
I think that's the most recoverable loss they can probably, because they are managed like. Eddie Howe's a great manager, but I think Tom Tuchel's available. That could be That could be a really sick
That's
appointment because I think Champions League
That's very
tested
cool.
manager,
Yeah.
and the squad isn't bad. It's just bare bones. They're just very susceptible to injuries.
Yeah.
I think he is available. I don't know. I think Eddie Howe is. Yeah, I think he'll stay, but
Right.
there are options.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I've gone from. That's my. I don't know who you guys have in 7th and 8th. If you want to mention that.
Go for it.
I didn't mention it. So
Oh, you did?
You
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Newcastle and Villa. and you-
Newcastle and Villa. I'm probably going because I had Spurs, Villa. Okay, so I'll probably go with Brighton and Bournemouth.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brighton, Bournemouth.
So Villa and Newcastle pushing out the top 10.
Villa is fifth for me.
Oh, Villa's 5th. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so Newcastle, your reasons, I tend to agree with you. But I think they'll finish like 9th,
Okay.
something like that. They could push on for more.
If they
who
finish
knows?
9th, Eddie Howe's fired.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like
But I think Bournemouth
they're on the
the
right.
strengths that
they're
they
on the
have.
right path. Yeah.
and their manager, Iraola, I
Palace
think they
as
play
well,
some
I think-
attractive football.
I think from 9 to like 14
Palace
is
even.
going to be crazy.
Wow.
Like Palace.
Yo.
Yeah.
Like
Palace
Palace
had
look
it
good, bro.
last season. Yeah.
Palace look good under Glasner. They really do. But they've lost Elise.
Elise, yeah.
They still have Eze though.
I don't know they
Arteta.
just signed in Ismail Yassar, but
Yeah.
he isn't Eze, all due respect.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
isn't as good. I mean, not Eze, Elise. He
Yeah.
isn't as good as Elise.
Why Brentford though?
So I said Bournemouth and Brighton.
Oh, Brighton. I thought you said Brentford.
Brighton, I feel like even though they've lost De Zerbi and lost
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those key players, they strengthen correctly. They do, like, their scouting project
They
is
are like
amazing.
2 steps ahead. They always
They
like 2
always
steps
are.
ahead,
They've got
yeah.
very intelligent people behind the scenes, I feel. Brentford as well. They've got a insane scouting structure. The way they use data to scout their players around the world is amazing. So those teams like Brentford, Brighton, Palace, Bournemouth, I think are going to be like punching into the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably, I would say, the most competitive area of the Premier League now.
Yes.
That like 7th to 14th. So
7th to 14th is crazy. Yeah.
So that's for our top 6 or top 8 predictions. We'll move on to. Do you guys want to move on to the Golden Boot?
Yeah. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
cool. We can move on to Golden Boot.
Quick.
We can do this
Yeah.
quick. I think. Do you guys want to do Golden Boot and runner up, or just Golden Boot?
Yeah, Golden Boot run up. Let's do
Cool.
it.
Would you like to start, Junaid?
So Golden Boot, I have Haaland.
Damn.
Damn.
Standard procedure.
Yeah, a standard procedure. I think he's gonna be fresh and ready. He wasn't in the Euros, so I think he's gonna be ready to go, and it's gonna be another season.
He did also get a lot of criticism last year.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's going to be fired up this season.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Rory Keane said he was a League 2 player or something, like off the
Yeah,
ball.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Like, that's ridiculously harsh. That's the beef with his dad that's coming through
It's
now.
weird because I don't think he would get as many goals in the Championship or League One as he does in the Premier League. It's weird to say.
But, I mean, it's because he's like...
Because he plays with Man
so
City.
good and his finish. I mean, to be fair, you take Haaland out of Man City, like you put anyone in Man City, they're getting goals. The service is ridiculous. The
Yes.
team is set up for the striker to thrive.
But it's also his movement. Haaland's movement is unbelievable. His off the ball work, his strength, his aerial ability. It's nuts. We've not seen anything like it.
He is
I mean,
a
just his
physical
bicycle kicks,
specimen, like
the way he gets up in the air, and
for his size, like his athleticism is crazy. Like I don't think we've seen like a 6'5", 6'4"
Zlatan.
striker, but move as quick as Haaland.
yeah.
Like Zlatan's had that athleticism, like with his flexibility and his kung fu and all those things. But like, I don't think Zlatan ever could like
You could
outpace a defender the way Haaland
You could
can.
see the similarities
yeah.
with Haaland and Zlatan.
Yeah.
But it's different as well. Yeah, it's weird.
Who you got there, Paolo, for Golden Boots?
So I've got Alexander Isak.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to print. He's going to be a top
I mean, before his
top
injury
player.
last year, he was up there 100%.
He scored 19 goals last season in the league. I mean,
Yeah.
it was third top scorer, I think,
Yeah.
or even more, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think it was more.
I'm
I think
not
he was.
sure.
I think he was
I
third.
can't remember the exact numbers.
I think he was on level with Solanke or Salah.
It was Haaland, Watkins, and Palmer in that area,
Yeah, and
and then maybe Isak and
it was
Solanke.
Haaland, Palmer, Isak, Solanke, Salah, something like that.
Paolo, where do you have Newcastle in your table?
Probably about 8th, 9th.
So he's gonna get
Golden.
Golden Boot, and they're gonna end.
They're going to end 8th or 9th. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I feel like they can score a lot of goals, but they could.
That's very
they
interesting.
They could concede a lot.
Okay.
You can always concede, but you can score a lot. So their score lines might be like 3-3 or 3-5, or
So
you never know.
The defense is horrific.
So their defense is just going to be horrific. Dubravka, Pope,
Yeah, I think
Fabian
Newcastle,
Schär, yeah.
Yeah, it
You could see the
depends
faults
if
and the
Bodman
flaws.
stays fit. I mean, don't think they can have Dan Burnett left back for too much longer.
Yeah.
I think even though he's been a great asset, like I don't think they can have him there for much longer.
Look, as you said, it's the depth and the availability of players. The injury list is huge. So I don't know, they could turn around. Prove me wrong, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong, please.
For me, I've gone this season. I've gone Salah,
Salah.
Okay.
just because I think this is going to probably be his last season for Liverpool. And looking at from what we've seen, the way that slot's set up, it looks like Salah's going to be getting a lot of one-on-ones with
With
the
no
keeper.
Afro anymore as well.
He's locked in. He's got his aerodynamics at 100%.
Yeah.
I think this season it looks like Salah's going to be getting a lot of opportunities. I have a feeling it's going to be Darwin on the left wing, Salah on the right wing coming in like this, and it's just going to be a lot of goals.
Diaz.
That means false nine.
I don't know, because there's been Soboslai's been playing there.
Carvalho's also.
Carvalho or
yeah.
Harvey or Jota. I actually have no idea until we get our strikers back. how
And then
it's
there's
gonna happen,
Gakpo
but
as well.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I don't know what's going to happen because there's only like 3 starting
He's going to
positions
do the
available.
total football where the
Gakpo
player makes a
left.
run from right back to striker and stays there.
I actually saw like last year that made me like laugh out loud. Those tacticos on Twitter, the guy was like, he did a thread about how Szoboszlai was the perfect ball playing centre back.
What?
And I literally just looked at it and I was like, dude, what? You'll just say.
I
anything.
remember
You'll just say
this
anything.
guy on Twitter that you were roasting. He
when
was
he
just
said-
using some crazy language and lingo.
What did he say?
I've got to get it.
Dude,
Just
it
wait
was-
for me.
I think like someone on Instagram like actually.
You
put it-
retweeted it and you're
it
like,
was-
this guy is talking
I
absolute
was like, why do
horse
people need
shit.
to talk like this? I can't actually. I can actually get it up and read it.
No,
but
that was so funny.
It was like the worst. It was honestly a word vomit. But it
no,
was
it's
crazy.
it's word vomit.
For
Yo.
all those who conceive of Guardiola as some high positionist, I beg you want them against Luton or Brighton, where he actually integrates horizontal fluidity or to discombobulate man-marking systems. Watch Van Hecker in brackets. Guardiola is one of the biggest pragmatists out there. Like,
What?
What did he just say?
discombobulate.
He's
using that?
he's trying to
Integrates
act
highs-
clever.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. You could probably dissect that and make it make sense, but just actually put it in a grade
Could've-
1
Yeah. Jeez.
language. Put it in grade 1 language,
Nah,
please.
you're very intelligent, bro.
Well done.
You got
Well
it.
done.
Hold on.
Yeah, so Salah, because I think Liverpool are going to create a lot of chances.
Who's your second?
Second, I'll put Haaland. Just
As well,
Gotta
as
go.
well.
Gotta play it safe again.
Haaland for
Gotta
me
play it-
second.
I've strayed too far from the safety. I need to go back to Haaland for safety.
It's gonna be like Salah 30, Salah 31, Haaland 30.
31. I'll take 31.
30.
He's going to be captain of Fantasy League again. He's captain every year.
Yeah.
I'll take 31 goals for Salah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the final section we're going to be going through, it's going to be short, is which teams we think are going to be the overachiever, or which team we think is going to be the overachiever, and maybe we'll add an honorable mention, and which team we think is going to be the underachiever this season.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think
Paolo, would you like to kick
we
us
can
off?
just mention it because we did run through the teams already and our
Yeah, yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So just who do you think? Should we start overachiever? Who do you think?
My overachiever is going to be Crystal Palace,
Okay.
and my underachiever is going to be Chelsea. Chelsea, for me, are going to finish outside the top 10 or 10s. Palace are going to finish either 10th or in the top 10, improving
Okay.
on their last season placing.
Interesting.
And Junaid, what have you?
So overachiever, I have Newcastle, right?
Okay.
So I put them 5th.
Yeah,
Mm.
of course.
And then underachiever, I have Aston Villa because of the whole thing
Yeah.
that I mentioned,
Champions
Champions
League.
League.
So
100%.
I was also similar to you guys. I've put a couple. So I'll
Stop being an overachiever.
Yeah, I'm overachieving right now. But for overachiever, I know I said they'll get relegated, but I think Ipswich. Purely because I think they'll overachieve in the way that they're going to play.
It's like a
and-
Luton last season. They're overachieving
they
expectations,
still got
Yeah.
relegated.
but they still got relegated.
yeah,
Yeah.
we expect them to end rock bottom comfortably, but they fought till the end.
So
Yeah.
it could be Ipswich
Maybe
just
Ipswich,
getting
if
relegated.
Ipswich
Yeah.
end 18th, I think they've overachieved
Yeah.
compared to the other resources of
They're
the
getting
other
some
teams.
points.
Exactly, yeah. If they surpass Sheffield last season, they've overachieved.
Yeah.
And then for underachiever, I've got a couple options here. But Villa, because I said of Champions League,
Right.
won't end top 6. Chelsea, because they underachieve all the time and it'll be funny. Man United, just
Okay.
because I want them to underachieve.
You want
Just
them
because
to
it's
underachieve,
always
yeah.
glorious,
Yeah.
glorious Man United. When
The
they do
Liverpool
not-
United
Glory Man
rivalry is
United
Yeah.
when they do not end high up.
Yeah, we were actually praising United in the last podcast. And then so much happened since then.
exactly.
Mm.
We got
They,
injured.
they have so many injuries now.
Yoro's injured.
Lenny
Yeah.
Yoro.
Hoyland's injured.
Yes.
Apparently Rashford's also injured.
Rashford now?
And there was
Yeah.
someone else. There was one other player. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Underachiever, I've gone for a few. Obviously, Villa, like I mentioned, they're not going to end top 6 because of the Champions League. Gone for Chelsea because they underachieve every year. And I think that 6th place for them is underachieving considering the massive amount of money they've spent. And if they do not end Champions League this season, there will be serious problems for them financially, even more than they have now.
Yeah.
And finally, I've gone for Man United just because it's Man United and it is...
And glory, Man United.
Glory, Man United. They fall down the table again. I just made that up, but yeah, something like that. Yeah, just nice when Man United do badly. That's
Yeah.
it.
And not a great start to the season for United.
Yeah, no, with their injuries, we've spoken now. Since you said
Yeah.
last week.
Since last week, we were praising Man United. Now, so much changed since then with all the injuries. So, I think they are a contender for underachievers.
Yeah.
So what are the injuries again?
Lenny Yoro for 3 months. Hoyland for 6 weeks.
Yes.
Then I'm not
Rashford.
sure. It's Rashford and one other player,
And
but
another
I'm not
player.
sure about how long they're out for. Yeah, already.
Equaling some of the teams last year
Yeah.
for their injury
That's
countless.
seriously unlucky, but Better them than us.
Yeah. As I read a comment, someone said that Linioro came to United to rest.
Yeah, that's good. I love that.
That's
Yeah.
good, yeah.
So
Yeah, I think also if United don't end top 4, they've underachieved.
yeah, exactly.
So
Huge.
that's the thing. And maybe as a cheeky one, Arsenal, if they don't win the title, they've underachieved. But that's probably a bit harsh.
Honourable
Good job.
members, honourable mentions.
So Junaid, Paolo, thanks for joining me. That was a great episode. I had a good time.
Thank you, Dylan.
Thanks, Dol.
Thanks for watching, guys. You can join us again next week where we will be discussing more from the Premier League, probably going through match predictions and whatever other news has been covered.
Stay safe, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.
Comment and subscribe.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
subscribe, and comment. Sweet.
Thanks.
Thanks.